Hey, what's up, you guys? It's 3 Stacks in this thing representing my squad. And today I wanted to go over an update on the Zefras. The main reason is because a lot of the people on my channel have been like commenting, asking about this deck. Because like Astrographs got banned and everybody's like, what are you going to play now? I'm still playing Zefras. Nothing changed. I didn't really need the Astrograph. It's like, I just really didn't need it. It didn't hurt anything, bro. Like honestly, the deck is still the same. Like, I barely even used the Astrograph, honestly. Like, that's why my extra deck never played Absolute or Vortex, because, like, I just never used the Astrograph. It was, like, such a rare occasion when I did. So, I didn't really feel like it hurt. Like, it didn't really hurt me. So, I'm going to show you guys my list and the modifications I made to my main deck, my side deck, and my extra deck to combat this format. So, let's hop into it. So, starting off with the bread and butter play, I played 3 Zefra. This is my anger translator. Everything I want to say to people that I can't say, he says it for me. And he's the best scale. He's a high or low scale. You could change his scale number every turn. He always sends your searcher. So this card searches through your whole deck, basically, long story short. You can summon him occasionally, but it's never really ideal because you have to be in such a grind game to do so. And duels don't last that long when you're playing against Zefras. And then we have 3 Zefra Neo. It's the searcher for everything. It searches your whole deck because it searches a spell that literally searches any Zefra card. So this is your lifeblood. It's 26 booty. You can plus off of 9 pillars and then search a Zefra War and then hit them with the Trident on their turn after you negated a card. It's really strong. It's just like it's broken. And it helps you to go into a card that like automatically wins against Gokis. Like they can't beat it no matter what. And then we have Trident. And we have basically like a Night Beam, but I like this because he hits any face-up card, whether it's a monster, spell, or trap, and then this hits any set card. But either way, you can summon them both at the same time, trigger their chain links accordingly, and you can snipe 2 cards. Then you could still go into like another play after that, like an Electrum if you need to. And then I have Windy, recurring your resources, endless resource. And then Zefraxi. Zefraxi's really strong because there's a lot of different synchro plays you could do. He's one of the simplest plays, like the basic line of play for the Zefras. They synchro a lot. Something really cool that came up when I top of this deck was I was using the field spells to stack monsters like Kaijus and hand traps and even stacking Jackal Kings and stuff. And I would use Electrum's effect, pop a scale, add another Jackal King from extra deck to hand or as a Zefrath, and then I draw the same monster that I stacked with my field spell. So instead of going Stardust Charge Warrior, you would just do that instead. And then for the Mythical Beast engine, I played 3 Master Cerberus. He's the most powerful card. Like going second without going into your extra deck really, even though he summons himself in the extra deck, it's like he's busted. Like he's gonna banish a monster and then gain the attack, and that's how you do, like that's where you do your big pushes for damage in time. And then we have 2 Jackal King going first and second. He's really strong. You can set him up going second off of a chronograph, and you just scale him up. I mean not scale him up, but you put the counters, so then everything you activate, you can't be hand trapped at that point. So he's really good. And also like it's easy to set up 2 first turn plus like 2 counter traps. And then like a Don Dragster, that's already 5 negates. And if you have a hand trap, you're golden. Then I do play 3 chronographs still, even without the Astrograph. This was always my favorite one because it was always the way I'd use Electrum to turn it into a board load under pressure. And now I can turn it into a Griffin, go Metaltron. Like chronograph was always my favorite. So since they didn't hit chronograph, I actually don't care because Astrograph was whatever to me. And then we have 2 Dark Worms and 2 Gate Zeros. I play 2 and 2 because it grinds. I might need resources. One of my gates is dedicated to a combo where I make Calamities plus counter traps, and that's busted against any deck. So like I always need the extra one just to search it. It comes up a lot. That's why I play 2 and 2. And Dark Worm is good. Like you resolve him, it sets up for your Electrums. Like when you're able to Foolish him with one of your many different spells that get that done, like it just sets you up for the Electrum before you Pendulum Summon. I do play 2 Purple Poisons because he's an out to everything. Like Purple Poison out to Anti-Spell, Rivalry of the Warlords, Imperial Order. Griffin doesn't stop him because he resolves in the extra deck. He's just busted. And then he boosts all your Dark Spellcasters too so that you can get over stuff. Then we have Perform Power, Adai Synchron, and Time Gazer to sum up for the Pendulum monsters. Adai Synchron is busted. There's so many win condition combos that you resolve by using him. He's just too good to not play. And then I played 3 Ash Blossom. It's good against every deck, including Gokis. You probably want to Ash the Isolde, her effect to do the Foolish for the equip, and normally they'll stop. Even sometimes like a Ghost Ogre properly timed. I play 2 Ogre, by the way. You can Ghost Ogre the Firewall and you stop their combo. Ghost Ogre Protocol or spoofing after they shuffle for cost. Against Spirals, you want to Ash the double Helix. Yes, we know Called by the Grave exists. And the way I see it is, if you got it, you got it. If I can't stop you, it's not my fault. You know, I just can't stop you. And then the Strudel, because he's busted. He breaks boards, he makes boards, and he establishes pushes under pressure when you're playing through negates. For our field spell, we play 3 Oracle of Zefra. I do play 1 Dragon's Ravine. Oracle of Zefra is really retarded. It has like 6 effects, I think, and like all of them are stupid. I only use, I think, 3 to 4 of its actual effects every duel. The best one to me is stacking a monster, and then when it's activated, you search. But you get so much like residual. You could just say residual pluses off of this card. It's insane. It's like an investment. It's gradual consistency. It allows you to get extra advantage just for free while keeping it on the field, and it's the best Ghost Ogre bait. People read this field spell and they're like, all right, like you can't Ogre on activation, but as soon as he uses an effect, I'm gonna Ghost Ogre, and they have to, because you always use this as Chain Link 2 and whatever else is Chain Link 1. And then Dragon's Ravine. So what Dragon's Ravine did, not only allow me to access the Strudel more consistently, but it turned my terraformings into other ways to make Electrum. Because these search this dumps Dragon's Dark Worm, and that in turn will make my Electrum before I Pendulum Summon. So even though I lost 3 ways to make Electrum, I played 4 more ways to make Electrum. I used to have 17 Electrum Turbo cards, now I have 14. That's still good enough to me. Like, it's always going to be able to make Electrum before Pendulum Summoning, and even so, this deck doesn't even need Electrum. That's the sad part. Like, Electrum is just there. And then 3 Zefra Providence, it searches anything in your deck, basically, that's Zefra. And then it can protect you from Dark Hole, Raigeki. I even Black Rose my own field. Like, I have Zefra Scales and then the field spell, and then I banish this from the grave, and then in turn, I just Black Rose their field and keep mine. It's really good. And then I played 3 Dragon Shrine and 1 Foolish. I'm trying to turbo out Electrum and Destrudo at the same time. Because, like, getting Destrudo means I get Don Dragster, and that's an additional negate on top of my counter traps, my Jackal King, and the Naruto if I decide to make it. It's really good. I would never not play any of these spells. They're all really flexible. They do more than one thing. They get me out of specific situations, and they help me to play under pressure. Then for my traps, I play Zephyr War, 1/9 Pillars. I cut it down from 2 to 1 because while this format's really fast, believe it or not, all the best decks right now are very, very fragile. They can just crumble under pressure from more than 2 negates. Really, sometimes 1 negate properly timed, especially against Gokis, like their turn is done, and you just kill them next turn. And I still play 2 Divine Strike because it's the easiest trap to set up. These require for you to have a specific card on your field. This, like, your opponent can Ghost Ogre your Electrum, and you'll just send the target for your Zephyr to your extra deck for this to be live. And then, like, when they Ghost Ogre your Scales, when you Zephyr War, or when, like, you just Fuse, or when you Link, when you Synchro, like, you're always going to have this. This is always going to be live. These are not always going to be live. Like, that's why I play 1 of each. And then I was going to keep this at 2, but now I'm playing Nightmare Griffin, so he can set any of my traps back. So I play, you know, basically he counts as the 5th one of either one of these that I want him to be. Now I'll go into my side deck because that's what's changed more than anything. It's a little under construction because I'm just deciding on ratios. I have the right cards in, I just don't know how many I want to play. But I am playing 3 raw spear modes because it's retarded. Against Gokis and Spirals, you just want to hit the Trigate, the Griffin, and anything else. Like for Spirals, you're going to hit, if they made a Griffin, you're going to hit it. But naturally for Spirals, what you're going to do is you're going to hit their Trigate, you're going to hit their Sleeper, and whatever else you feel is a threat. Against Gokis, you're going to hit the Griffin, the Trigate, and the other monster you want to hit. Basically, you want to hit the monsters that make all the other monsters co-link. So if the Trigate is there, obviously there's 3 other monsters that are only co-linked because Trigate's there. So if you hit the Trigate, they're no longer co-linked. Their effects that offer protection for the field and all their other effects are like turned off. So raw spear mode's insane. It's a win con. You don't even have to hand trap their board. You could just let them overcommit and then punish them with spear mode. And if they think that I can't get to this card, I'm just going to stack it on my deck with my field spell and draw it and raw spear mode them anyways. It's just redundant. They can Ibly me. I don't care. I play so many high-level monsters. Every time someone's ever given me an Ibly, I just tribute it to Tribute Summon. It's stupid good. I never go into battle phase and try to crash it. I don't even have to do that. My deck, luckily, I'm blessed to play a bunch of level 6 monsters. And I still play Lava Golem. I wanted to play 2. I still do. Like, I want to play 3 Spear Mode and 2 Lava Golem for Gokis and Spirals specifically. Those are really the only decks that I feel like make really insane boards turn 1. And, like, when you open with cards like these, you do not want to hand trap them, because if you hand trap them, you might not be able to resolve this, and even after hand trapping them, they'll end on a board that's still optimal enough to stun you. So you just let them go in. You let them go to town. You let them feel like they won, and then you just punish them for overcommitting. So I play these 4. And I do play 3 evenly matched. It's just one of the win cons, honestly. If I can evenly match and then set up a board full of negates, it's so hard to come back because of the resources that you've just lost. It's like you're already fighting a downhill battle, and then I add insult to injury by setting up Jackal Kings, counter traps, Naritos, whatever I want. And I do play 3 infinite impermanents. This card is pretty good. Like, I like it a lot. Like, honestly, I wasn't playing it before, right? Like, I really wasn't playing impermanence at all. I just picked it up recently, and I still was not playing it. But I realized how good it is because I had to realize it by playing against certain decks. Impermanence is really good not playing it on their turn, but going against the Goki boards as I've gained experience. If you have impermanence evenly, you can impermanence on your standby, targeting the Tri-Gate. They're going to negate this. They have to. It's the only time that they have to negate. If they let it resolve, Tri-Gate's negated, right? So you activate this, Tri-Gate's negated. Tri-Gate negates it, and then after that, you just evenly match them. It's so stupid. It's not even fair. And against Spirals too, you will like... If they play Resort first of all, they're not even going to do the Spiral combo. They're going to have to do some awkward thing to resolve Master Plan. But if they resolve Master Plan, search out their Spiral Resort, they already did the double Helix play because they did double Helix to summon the Master Plan, right? So before they even get the chance to resolve double Helix, you can just impermanence, and you will be able to target it because they haven't resolved Master Plan. They don't have Spiral Resort up. So if you impermanence double Helix, they're going to have to pass turn. So it's really strong. And because it's not a monster, of course, you can hit Amano Iwado. You can hit monsters that say that they negate monster effects. It's just stupid. It's a really good card. And I like its flexibility, how you can play going first or second. And going first, when you set this card, I naturally set it in pendulum zones because this is, I'm playing this while the ban list is not in effect. So when you set it in a pendulum zone, you're going to negate whatever monster. And then after that, whatever scale they play, if it's an Oath Dragon, it can't activate its effect. If it's a Astrograph or a Chronograph, it can't activate its effect. If it's a Master Cerberus, it can't activate its effect because the Speller Traps are also going to be negated as well. So you got to be really careful. When you see this card hit, you have to be careful of what columns that you play in. And that's how I use this. I use it as a double-edged sword. And then I do play 3 red reboots because people side these against me. And also when I'm going second and I want to evenly somebody, they side red reboots for the evenly. So I just want to evenly and then reboot their reboot. They'll keep 2 cards, it's fine, but I wiped most of their board, especially against Altergeist. Evenly red reboot is game because you'll resolve this. They'll try to red reboot. You reboot theirs. They will keep 2 cards, but they can't activate any more traps. And also on resolution, they can't multi-figure because your trap is the last one that resolved and not theirs. And then I play Raigeki. Even though like all the other cards are like so much better, like Spear Mode, Lava Golem, Evenly, they're all like guaranteed board wipes where this is kind of iffy because sometimes cards can't be destroyed by card effects. But if they can't be destroyed by card effects, that doesn't mean you can't Spear Mode or Evenly. But I still chose to play the Raigeki. I even was going to be like, I'll play a Dark Hole too. So like I might cut 1 impermanence for a Dark Hole, but I just don't feel them being... I don't see them being that good this format, like board wipes, and that's funny that I even said that, but that's just how I feel right now. The extra deck, I played 3 Electrums. It's a necessity. Even though we lost Astrograph, I don't care. Like, I was making this card, like, for days, and I didn't even need Astrograph. I'm, like, probably the only Pendulum player that's not salty about losing Astrograph. I literally didn't even care about him. And then Zefra Metaltron, it's a Zefra, so you can protect it with the spell. You add resources that you never deserved and never worked for. And then also, he has 3 columns. So you just Pendulum summon 3 from extra deck. And it's also how I get my Griffin co-link because I want to draw. I'm greedy. And I never want to summon Griffin in the extra monster zone because he'll give them the zone where they can use their monster effects now because they'll just summon it towards linked to Griffin. And I don't like that. So I go Metaltron and then Pendulum summon. And then I'll do my standard plays. I'll put a Jackal King somewhere over there. And then I'll go into this, discard, and then set. Like, for example, I can even, like if I already have a spell or trap in my grave, I can discard one of my counter traps and set it anyways, just if I want to, and then draw. And also sometimes like I have to discard a trap from my Dragon's Ravine because every other card in my hand is like a good Pendulum scale. So he'll get it back. And in the grind games, he'll get back traps that I've used up, like my 1 of War and my 1 of 9 Pillars. I'll just get it back. Or even a 3rd Divine Strike if you want to. So like he adds insult to injury because now your turn 1 board is so insane because you'll have Jackal Kings that are pointing to him so they can negate monster effects, even though they can't activate monster effects. But the Jackal Kings will hit cards that resolve in hand, like Multi-Faker. when they like, you know, just resolve in hand in general, or even chronograph, it'll just hit stupid cards. Like even it'll hit like Octo Stretch for some random, like anything, and it hits hand traps too. The Jackal Kings will still stop hand traps, and then you have counter traps on top of that. So naturally you go Jackal King, Naruto, and you have like a Divine Strike and a Zefra War, and you're good to go, especially because the Griffin makes it so you don't have to negate that much. Then I play Borreload because he's just stupid. He's one of my favorite cards. My trump card. I make him under pressure all the time. And then my win condition against Gokis, I make this with Earths every time. I use Earth Yangzines to make it. So what happens is a Goki player cannot activate any Earth monster effects, and it affects the player and not the monsters. So they can't search, they can't special, and all they can do is like try to make Isolde without Gokis, which is lackluster, and I'll just negate the Isolde anyways, and they lose. Like they cannot, they have very, very little recovery if you can stop the Gokis from going off. They have no layers of defense. It's just pure offensive combos. So like if you stun them with this and they can't use any Goki monsters, they can't play Yu-Gi-Oh! And they just scoop. Like they never beat this. It's stupid good. And then whenever you kill their monsters, you get special worm types that have the same attribute as the monsters that killed. And then if this gets killed, you search a hand trap. You search any tuner, which is Ash or Ogre, or even Destrudo. Sometimes I search Destrudo. I also occasionally search Odd Eyes Performapal Synchron. And what I'll do with Odd Eyes Performapal Synchron is I'll go into Cloud Castle and bring this back and then make Calamities just to be a dick. And then, where is my, there he is, my Gothams. I also play Gothams because he's part of this retarded combo where you go Gothams, rip a card out their hand, Cloud Castle, bring back Gothams. Now you know what you're playing, so it lets you know whether or not you want to make Calamities. You make Calamities, you have counter traps, you have Jackal Kings, you have hand traps, you're going to win. It's just busted. And it gives you the knowledge of what you're playing turn one, so, because like there have been times when I resolved this combo and they just scooped. And if I didn't get that Gothams, I wouldn't know what I'm playing and I wouldn't have the knowledge of what to side deck. But this guarantees that even if they scoop, you know what you're playing, you know how to side. So he's just stupid good. Information is key. Then I played Yazi, playing through the negates. You just use him, attempt to pop the negator negates him, he floats into Zefra Nui, and then you make Electrum, bait out another negate, and then you just Pendulum summon your Zefra Nui and your Zefraxi and anything else you want, and then you break their board after that. You go into board load after that, and then you break their board. I've done it. And then Black Rose, because it kills any established board, you just got to play it right. I've even had to Black Rose under an Electrum just to play around the Griffin. Like, I made Electrum, never used this effect, just had the zones, went into Black Rose right here, and it was linked, so it could resolve, and I killed their board. Don Dragster, because he's another negate. Spell Trap or the effects of spells or traps means that even if they're face up on the field already and they're activated, you can negate their effects on field. You can negate graveyard effects like True Draco spells and traps. There's like, if it's a spell or a trap, regardless of where it's at and wherever it's trying to resolve, he'll negate it. He's really good. And I played, you know, the 6 links, the 6 synchros. Then I played 3 XYZs, which is True King of all Chlamydia. I played Naruto because he's too dope. And then Dweller, because Dweller against Gokis, you win. Dweller against 60-card decks, which still might be a thing, you win. You can Dweller against Dracos, you win. It's just too good. Even Ultra guys can sometimes struggle under a Dweller because they have a lot of cards that resolve like and fetch extra resources from graves. So it's too good, this format. And that pretty much concludes the deck profile, you guys. I'm still thinking about what's really, really good, like what I should play and what I should not play. But I'm going purely off of experience. This is a premeditated synopsis. Basically, I concluded all these results based on experience from the events that I've been attending. And I feel that this deck is insane. I like Zefras a lot. I think they're one of the best decks this format. And the main reason why this deck is going to have such a powerful Goki matchup is because we can make this with, like, no, like, we can make this without even trying. Like, we'll make this, we'll stack a hand trap, or we'll stack a really good monster, anything we want on top of our deck, and then we'll Electrum pop draw it. And then you'll have Chow Fang plus like a Ghost Ogre, or Chow Fang plus an Ash Blossom, or Chow Fang plus a Don Dragster, and it's stupid. So yeah, you guys, I hope that you enjoyed this. God bless you. Make good choices. Don't hurt your brain cells. Definitely stay tuned for future content. I thought about Curtain Raisers. I still am probably going to play Archfiend Eccentric. I feel like I just need to bring that card back because she's busted. But other than that, the deck's been performing really well. In fact, overperforming, exceeding my own expectations. I love it a lot. Zefras are me, man. This is me for this format. But I hope you guys find your deck. Just don't play meta. That's all I got to say. Peace out, y'all.